Hello, everyone. I'm just going to actually, where is this? Get that out. There you are. How's everyone doing this evening? Just going to get my geek glasses out just to make myself look like I'm educated. So welcome to our next online gin tasting. So we've kept them going. They're still very popular, which is what we like to see. I know there's a lot of people trying to get out at the moment, but it was, again, making me laugh today looking at everyone sitting outside on the freezing cold chairs with everything blowing, glasses smashing everywhere, just trying to eat some food outside. It is quite funny. But here we are with another online tasting. This one's a kind of introduction to some gins we recommend for summertime. As you guys start coming in, if you can just do the usual, thanks Al, perfect, straight in, just put a comment in there to let me know that you are all getting in okay. I think, again, everyone had a link via the email, so hopefully no one should be going missing. I'll try and work out numbers of who we're expecting to hear numbers-wise on the screen. And yeah, so we got this one. There is a little extra treat in this one. So we've gone with 5 samples for you rather than 4. One of which is going to be a cocktail, which is going to have right at the end. Order-wise, so I can give you a heads up, we are pretty much on the order that you've got the bottles. The one that's unlabeled, we're going to sneak in, let's say, position 3B. So it's going to be a little bit later on, but Jas will get you guys up to date on that nearer the time. If you can, I mean, most people should know by now, you'll have a tasting glass. So anything like that, or even a small wine glass. You can use this one later for the cocktail. There's no harm in making it in this. But if you have got like a little rocks glass or a tumbler, that would be ideal as well. And you'll also need some ice, which I'm guessing most people do have. I'm not sure if Jas put that on the email, but if you have got some ice, that would be handy towards the end. You'll have your garnishes, you'll have your tonics, and there's also a lemonade there as well. They'll be used, just listening out for Jas to kind of instruct you on when to use those. I'm hoping by Monday we should announce our next gin tasting. So that will be tickets released for that one. Monday, Tuesday probably latest. And then we've also got the whiskey ones going at the moment, which tickets are still for sale for that. I know a few of you are on that one as well. But other than that, I think we are pretty much good to go. Numbers look good. Hello to everyone that's put the comments in, great. And I will bring in Jas so we can get things started. And then Jas will, of course, bring in our first guest for this evening. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, all good. All good, yeah. So I think numbers-wise, we're good. Trying to count up how many actual households are watching rather than people. So I think we are good to go. And other than that, yeah, so that's right. Yes, they got the glass, they need ice, they got the tonics, they've got the bottles. We said the unlabeled one is going to go in position 3B, so that's fine. And then I will come back on later, guys, as well, just to talk you through the cocktail that we've done. And that's it. Other than that, I'll leave you there. I'll be in the chat, so get to go in. Oh, can I just check? Alison, yeah, Alison's here. So you did get the set. I tried ringing the bell, but you weren't there, so I did leave everything at the front. So I'm just glad you got your kits. So cool. Let's get going and have a good evening, guys.
I'll see you in a bit, Shane. I'll bring you back on later on. Hello, everyone. As Shane said, it's our hello to summer, although it's not very much like summer outside. And yeah, so we are using tasting glasses, which is kind of normal. I'm only mentioning this because we've got a few new people on tonight, which is always nice. But just so you are aware, rather than sort of the big balloon glasses, which we tend not to use, or at least I tend not to use. But this sort of tasting glass is perfect for what we're doing. Or a wine glass like that is actually what I make all my gin and tonics in. So something like that is perfect because it allows for the flavors and aromas to come through as we go through them, and allows for all those other bits we're going to add, and you'll see how they all change and sort of marry together. But we've got lots to get through. We've got 5 gins tonight instead of 4, as Shane already said. And so I think we should kick off with our first one, and this is I've got audio problems. Oh God, not great. Yes, I don't know why. Maybe let me try that.
I can hear you fine, my end, Jess.
Can you?
Yeah. It does come across a little muffled. I can see what they're saying. Yeah, it's not like your HD that you're used to.
That's very odd. Okay, well, maybe maybe I'll have to see if I can sort that out some way. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
just put your camera back on though, because that's gone off.
Oh.
That's on your other camera. That's underneath, the wrong one. Can't see you now. There you are. That's better. Right, I'll leave you to introduce the guys, and I'll bring them in for you. Now you turned your mic off, Jess. So what you've done.
Can you hear me?
That's it. That's better. Yeah, there you are. Done.
Okay, right. This is not normal. Okay, so technical issues aside, I'll speak very slowly so everyone can lip read. We've got our first guys joining us. They are Andrew and Calandra, and they are all the way from Brixton. And they're going to show us our first gin, bottle number 1. Hello, Andrew and Calandra.
Hi guys.
Hey, how are you? Am I saying it right? Is it Calandra?
Yeah, it's Andrew as well. So yeah.
Yeah, you go by both names. Yeah. So look, thanks for joining us. I see you've got an amazing set of ingredients there. So you're going to make something really nice, I assume.
We are.
Yeah. Great. So look, guys, tell us about you. So this is you guys here. This is Brixton.
Yeah.
So tell us about yourselves, how you started, how long you've been going for.
So we were kind of, I think, inspired to start Brixton Gin during the first lockdown last February, March.
Yeah.
We just had a baby. We were stuck in the flat, being awake more hours of the day than we care to remember. I've had a food retail business in Brixton for many years. We've both lived in Brixton for a long time. So it really gave us the breathing space to kind of think about creating a Brixton gin. And having made the decision that we would it all happened rather quickly. So we managed to find ourselves incredibly well qualified consultant to help us come up with a recipe. And we then took it upon ourselves to make a gin, and that involved starting off with a long list of different recipes, all of which used the kind of botanicals that were, I guess, kind of common to Brixton, and would be very familiar to people in Brixton. And they were obviously we started off with London dry botanicals, so juniper, orica root, angelica, lemon peel, orange peel, and coriander. And the final recipe that we came to had the addition of local raw Brixton honey, wood violet, and hibiscus. I guess we started off with an ambition to make a gin that was distinctive in the market. There were lots of wonderful London dry gins around, but I think we sort of felt, given that we were going to put Brixton on the bottle, and Brixton is a million things to a million people. We're not trying to pretend to kind of encapsulate what Brixton is, but we felt duty bound to create a gin that was distinctive and different and full of vibrant flavours. So hopefully that's what we've done.
And also, really, to answer the challenge that we set ourselves, which is how much of this gin can we actually source from Brixton? How many of the botanicals can we actually grow in Brixton?
Yeah.
Because as we said, we were in lockdown, we were kind of stuck in this place, drinking lots of gins from other people. And we thought, this is a fun challenge. Like, what can we make from Brixton?
It's a really amazing story, because we started doing these tastings during the first lockdown.
Yeah.
For the people that are on joining us tonight, they could have been in your position, and now you've got your own gin, and you're with us tonight, which is crazy. And
we're babies. We're new to we're new to the gin world, but we're super excited by what we've created, and we love it. So we just hope everyone else loves it as much as we do.
So why don't we get everyone to pour some out? So it's bottle number 1, guys.
Yeah.
And while we let that sort of open up in our glasses, I'm going to ask you guys. So the thing that really sort of piqued Shane and I's interest in this gin was the fact that, a lot of the gins that we talk about and discuss on here, they're from, open plains, and it's very easy to forage and all that sort of stuff, right? And when we were told that your botanicals are, a lot of them are sourced within Brixton, we're like, how is this possible?
Exactly.
So,
it's like, the mean streets of Brixton, right? We're not talking about botanicals grown in the Highlands of Scotland or some beautiful place. We're an urban gin, and our botanicals are grown in disused spaces around Brixton, and obviously one of the botanicals is also honey, literally gathered from bees and beehives in Brixton. So it's different. It's a
So
central London gin.
Yeah, and did you have to find the people to grow, or did you just kind of say, well, look, let's start doing it ourselves?
So we've partnered with an organisation called Urban Growth. They take disused urban spaces, little patches of land, essentially wherever they can find them, and turn them into flourishing gardens. So
council estates, they'll actually take gardens that have been neglected and turn them into beautiful spaces. They'll take empty car parks and start growing things there. So they have a couple of gardens in Brixton where we're growing our botanicals. One, Brixton Orchard, which is on Brixton Hill, if any of you guys know Brixton. And also in Pop Brixton, we're growing some of our coriander. So the vision, I guess, for the gin and the brand is to source and grow as many of our botanicals as possible from Brixton. We're starting that process now. Not everything is able to grow everything in Brixton yet. But that is the long-term kind of vision.
Amazing. So look, some people are already picking it out, and it's very obvious on the nose. That violet really comes through.
Everyone, what are you all noticing?
So violet is definitely there, right? People are getting that.
So I mean, as we said, this is a bold expression, right? So wood violet we accept. It is not going to be to everyone's taste, okay? So there'll be a few people, and I think we had one customer very early on after we launched in November last year who wrote to us, who took the time to write to us and say she really didn't like wood violets, and how could we possibly put this in a gin? And we had ruined her day. But I mean, she used less polite words than that essentially, but that was the message we were trying to get across. But overwhelmingly, the response has been really positive. This is not a violet gin. If you want to go and buy a violet gin, you obviously can do. This is much more complex. It is ever so slightly sweeter than a normal London Dry. Not that you necessarily notice that once you're trying it with a tonic, but you will get that wood violet. That'll be the first expression and the first note, and it's probably heavier on the nose than it is in the mouth. But you guys be the judge of that. And then you'll get quite a long kind of citrus burst. There is, it's because it's 45% rather than 41 or 42. There's a sort of slightly greater viscosity in the mouth, so you're going to get a great mouthfeel out of it, which also helps when you're making martini or another cocktail.
Also, the hibiscus actually adds a lot of the sweetness to the gin. Actually, that's what that flavour is. So it's the combo of the wood violet and the hibiscus, actually.
So let's go for a little taste. Also, know it's quite creamy. Where is that coming from? Is that just the extra ABV, or is there an ingredient that's giving that?
Primarily the ABV, yeah. Whether honey adds to that, I honestly don't know, but it's primarily the ABV.
Yeah. Good. Let's go for a taste.
What does everyone think? We're dying. We're on tenterhooks here.
So actually, I do get that violet at the start,
Yeah.
and then there's that. It's not lime, is it? There's a citrus.
Yeah, it's lemon and orange peel.
So technical issue. My laptop is about to run out of battery, so I'm going to disappear off screen and plug it in. So just stay there.
Yeah, and then there's a pepperiness as well.
There's a what?
Slight pepperiness.
Mm. Yeah, it probably is.
A little bit.
That's probably the coriander.
I'm going to try and move.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's really good. So we're going to add a tonic to this. Now I know you've got a martini served there. So do you want to talk? So guys, what we will do at our end is we'll add a tonic and a garnish, and you can make your martini while we enjoy that. So the guys at home,
Andy's just trying to move the camera.
it's fine. That's fine. The guys at home, we're going to add 2 to 1 tonic to our gin. So if you've got about 20 ml of gin in your glass, then add either 40 ml of tonic if you want to, kind of dilute it just a bit, or 50 ml. Sorry, double the amount. So if I've got 20 ml, I'm going for another 20 ml of tonic.
So guys,
They're tasting. Do you want us to talk through the martini now, or you guys are tasting your gin?
take the gin.
I'm just going to set them up on their mixer and their garnish, and then we'll watch you do your thing. Garnish wise, we're going for an orange. Here we are. If you have lemon, use lemon, but orange is good. And what we're going to do is just take the peel. So a little bit of the peel like this, okay? And we're not going to use the flesh. We're just using the peel, and we're going to hold it between our 2 fingers and our thumb, and we're going to just squeeze it over the glass, and let all those lovely oils just kind of wash over, and then just drop it in. And then you see how it all opens up with that lovely tonic, and we've got the peel, the orange peel, and it just all elevates the gin. So go for a taste, and we're going to watch you guys make your martini.
Okay, so this came from a friend of mine who's a mad martini drinker, and confession time, the fact that this gin is an amazing martini gin is purely accidental. We really didn't give that very much consideration when we were making the recipe. However, by happy circumstance, it is an awesome martini gin. So if you like the martinis, this is going to be, I think, a real winner.
And even if you don't like your martinis, it's going to be a winner.
Yeah, just try
That's
it.
what I'd say.
So we're going to make a Brixton Gin Vesper Martini, which this came from a friend who, as I said, who's a insane martini hound, and just raved about it and said, "You guys are going to make one." So we did, and I think the result is pretty special. So we're going to use 3 parts Brixton Gin.
This should also have a warning label on it.
Do not operate heavy machinery after one part vodka. It doesn't matter which. I like Black Cow vodka, but that's not we're not paid to promote them. And then 1 part Lily Blanc. Give it a bit of a shake. Alrighty. And just a twist of lemon peel. Finish it off. There we go. And my assistant will
I will happily.
Yeah. The amazing Vesper Martini, eh?
It is amazing. And
yeah,
say I wouldn't say I was a martini drinker, but this is divine.
Yeah.
I think something about the gin is we've noticed is it doesn't need much. Like you could very happily have it on the rocks, with a little bit of orange, and it really is delicious. There's so much to it, but it doesn't need a lot added to it, I guess. So
And as you said,
simple, light sort of tonics and martinis.
Yeah.
So,
I know guys are trying it with a regular tonic, which is great. Try it with a light tonic as well. If you get around to trying it again, just to see the difference. I mean, this is purely subjective, but you know, I think that the more delicate notes kind of express themselves better with a lighter tonic. But you know, it's very subjective. So and we don't as people who have kind of been force-fed a diet of being told how to drink things and when to drink things and what garnishes and so on, we are delighted to make recommendations, but also just enjoy it how you want to drink it. Just drink it and enjoy it, right? We're not prescriptive in terms of telling people and telling bartenders how they should make it. So whatever works.
So it's got a lot to it. So it's delicious without lots added, is what we'd say.
Yeah. So is this now your full-time business, or are you still kind of doing other things?
It is for you.
It is for me. I'm a new mum. So
congratulations.
As well. But I'm grateful for the gin and tonic at the end of the day. So, it's my full-time job.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, and look, response has been really positive and
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, it's a really, really good gin. And as you say, you sort of managed to achieve what you wanted, which is creating something that, you know, if you knows it, you can say, okay, well, that is Brixton. Like, it stands out on its own.
Yeah.
Which is really good. And very tough, considering how many gins are on the market.
Well, this is it. And you know, we started off, although I have a background in food and drink retail and sold a lot of gins and tried a lot of gins. And we are, as we said, complete novices in this game. Which I think in many ways has kind of helped because we've not been sort of, you know, there's been no doctrine of how we go about doing this, right? We just basically, you know, between us, set out to make a really distinctive gin. The gin itself is distinctive and interesting and bold and, dare we say, a little bit daring. And then in terms of the design of the bottle, again, we had no industry background, so we didn't know what we were doing. So we basically set out to create a design that was distinctive and stood out, and people could look over the bar and say, "Oh, what's that?" Because it's got a guy, you know, in a zebra-drawn trap going across the front of the bottle.
We haven't talked about the character on our bottle. I don't know if you guys have seen the bottle, but he's a guy called Gustav Gray, who was a showman based in Brixton. So at the turn of the century, Brixton was a centre for all of these acrobats and show people from around the world. They all gather, and he would ride around the streets of Brixton in a zebra-drawn carriage. And for us, that just really captured Brixton. He was an absolute maverick. He did things his own way, and really kind of that's the spirit of Brixton that we're trying to kind of emulate, and what we're trying to do with our gin. We thought we were a great character to represent that. So that's Gustav Gray.
Amazing. Well, look, guys, I think there's been some amazing comments about the gin. Loving the Vesper Martini idea as well. It's definitely one to try. And guys, thank you very, very much for spending your evening with us for a little bit and showing us all about and telling us about Brixton Gin. Thank you very much. So,
thanks very much.
Thanks, guys.
Guys, so as normal, you'll get a 15% discount on the gins tonight. So if you like Brixton Gin and you'd like to order a bottle, then you get that 15% discount. So definitely go for that. Thank you very much, guys. Good luck with everything. It's only in our shelves, and we look forward to selling loads.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Bye.
Guys, cheers. Take care. Hopefully you'll all hear me because you're stuck with me for the rest of the evening. But that was the amazing Brixton Gin. So we are moving on to bottle number 2. Bottle number 2. Okay. So now we're sort of really going into those kind of summer flavors in a more obvious way. So, you know, with color and everything else being part of it. So bottle number 2 is one called Wildcat. Now, some of you seasoned tasters of ours would have remembered a couple of gin tastings we did with a lady called Jenny when we did our gin and spa evenings. And she worked as a consultant for Neal's Yard Organic Remedies. And we did Wildcat on one of those tastings. But this is a new one to them. It's called Wildcat Passion. And this is actually our extra gin because they came to us last minute and said, we want to be involved. We want to do a gin tasting with you later on, but can we chuck this one in? So we did. And so this is the addition. Wildcat Passion. Obviously, like I told you, Wildcat, just to remind you of the story of Wildcat, is a story of a guy called Captain Dudley Bradstreet. And he, in the sort of the early days of the 1700s in London, he started what I say is, oh, hey, Jenny. Jenny's here as well. Hey, Jenny, how are you? He basically started these little what is the first vending machine probably in the world, and in little doorways in London, in these little dark alleyways, he'd have a little cat, a little tomcat on the door. And the idea was that to keep it all very sort of underground, and you know, the government was clamping down on the illicit distilleries, so he basically had a little cat. And if you saw a cat, you knocked 3 times on the door, you put a little penny in the cat's mouth, says on the door, right? And then a chap inside the doorway would dispense a little tot of gin for you. So it wasn't an actual shop, but you know, people could kind of go about their business and get a little gin on their way. So that's the story of Wildcat Gin. It's all about, the branding is all about Wildcat Gin, but this particular bottle is about passion and passion fruit, and it sort of came about during COVID. So they've got a range of flavors. And it's all to do with, this one in particular is about Pink Noise. So it's a charity that was founded during COVID to help the LGBTQ community, to help, you know, people that couldn't do their side hustle, their evening, drag acts and so on, and they lost income from their performances. So it's sponsored by Pink the singer. It's called Pink Noise. And a whole load of donations from the bottle sales go towards that charity to basically help, you know, journalists, performers, you know, artists, filmmakers, anyone within that sort of community of interests. And it's designed to help those people, you know, with their passion. So passion fruit is the flavor, and orange. So let's go for a little taste. So 20 ml or so into your glass. And let's go swirl it around. So the idea of swirling it around like so is to just open up those flavors, get rid of some of those alcohol notes. And so when you go for that nose, you don't get punched with the alcohol, and you kind of just start getting more of the actual flavor of the gin itself. I agree, Rachel, we do need to do another gin and spa evening. Absolutely. Jenny, we'll have to get on the case. So let's go for a nose. So that passion fruit is really, really, it's kind of, some of you are probably going to get more orange. Some of you are going to get a bit of passion fruit. I'm definitely getting more of the passion fruit at the start, and then that orange is really very, very quickly following behind it. And really, that's kind of the main 2 things that I'm getting. Let's go for a taste. It's extra sweet compared to the first gin that we had, the Brixton. This is dropped right down to 37.5%. So there's a lot more sweetness and a lot more of that kind of passion fruit syrup coming through. And what we're going to do with this particular gin is add some lemonade. So they've got a serve which is lemonade, passion fruit syrup over ice, and it's designed to be like this really nice fresh summer drink. We couldn't give you passion fruit syrup because of the shelf life, so we're just going to go with a lemonade, which we've given in your boxes, in your kits. And we're going to go for a 2-to-1. So 20 ml of gin, add 40 ml of lemonade. And let's just see, first of all, how that's changed the drink. That passion fruit still really comes through. So Shane's saying he's getting a bit of bitterness and spice. So lemonade is given an unusual aroma. Maybe it tastes good. I think I need to add a bit more gin. And to this, we are going to add our garnish as a piece of strawberry. Yeah, you're right. This in a porn star martini would work really well because all those flavors are there, and you've got that lovely kind of balance of the orange as well, which works really nicely. So I'm going to get a little bit of strawberry, chuck that in. Now this, like I said, in a glass, loads of ice, you know, load of lemonade. You can get a bit of passion fruit juice or syrup. No, not syrup. Passion fruit juice. And then add a strawberry and you're probably away. For a gin, I'm not getting much juniper. No, absolutely, Rachel. That's absolutely right because that passion fruit and that orange is really overriding. And that's one of the things with some of these flavored kind of gins is that you lose that juniper, which was actually one of the good things with the Brixton, is that you've got that violet, which was undeniable, but that juniper was still present, and you still felt like you were drinking a gin, which made a really nice change from a lot of those Palmer Violet flavour gins that we get on the market. So this one is very much the opposite. Yeah. Jenny says it's making a sweet tooth. Yeah, Solero, I got that one. Yeah, very good, Neil. Yeah, I'm definitely getting that Solero. It's actually really good with the strawberry. It just adds a bit more additional fruit layer. And still, I think if you add ice to this, it's probably going to take away a little bit of that sweetness. But it definitely is. Yeah, Milton, you know what? Yeah, would it be better with a tonic? Absolutely, it could work with a tonic, and it should work with a tonic. With this one, we kind of went along with their kind of recommendation on a serve, which was a lemonade, and they did warn us it was going to be extra sweet with the lemonade, but that's the serve that they've gone with as a brand. So we wanted to try it. But I agree with you. If hopefully you've only used half your bottle, so you should have another half left. Try it with a tonic, and let us know as well. Yeah, but you know what? This has a place as well, so it could work. At, a garden party or something like that. Maybe served in a jug, and just that sort of nice kind of entry drink on arrival. But yeah, it's good. That passion fruit really comes through. The orange is still there. There's a lot of sweetness. It kind of your tip of your tongue is really going crazy. But that Solero feel has dissipated a touch with the addition of lemonade. So that is Wildcat Gin. We've got a whole range of other flavors, which we might do. We might showcase some more, but right now that is all about feeding your passion, the Wildcat passion fruit and orange flavored gin. There you go. Cool. So what's that? 25 ml. Oh, Shane's already made a cocktail up there. Yeah, so look, it's nice to chuck these things in because this is the whole point of tastings. You get to try different gins and, see where you are. in terms of flavour. So maybe something to point out on that is the ABV was at 37.5. So that's obviously going to add a sweetness. So if you're looking at your gins and what to buy, just check the ABV, because obviously the lower ABV is going to bring you a sweeter style of drink. So just something to consider. But Neil loved it. Okay, so yeah, very different, very different. Yeah, strawberry always works with, you know, passion or something fruity like that is a good addition. So I'm going to move on to gin number 3. So while you finish that one up, gin number 3 is another new one to us. So this is brand new. We haven't even had the brand in the shop before. And it's this one here called Pink Marmalade. Comes in a standard shaped bottle, but a nice kind of white colour to it, and a very nice kind of little design on the label. And this is a really, really nice, it's got an amazing nose. So actually, while I tell you about the gin, why don't you pour some into the glass. Now this is going back to a gin, right? This is going back to what we recognise as gin. So the flavours that were very sort of, maybe, I don't want to say artificial, but added to the gin in the previous Wildcat. We're going much more to, you know, a traditional style, you know, distilled gin with the flavours coming through from distillation and the actual ingredients and botanicals used. So you'll notice, first thing you'll notice is this amazing purple colour. And when you swirl it around, got some lovely, lovely slow tears rolling down the glass as well. ABV wise, we're at 42%. And when you nose it, right, so it's Pink Marmalade, right? That's the name of the gin. That's the name of the company, which I'll tell you about in a second. But actually, on the nose, you are getting a pink grapefruit, but you're also getting that juniper, and you're getting other citrus notes in the background as well. And it is different, right? I'm not a fan. Those of you that know and done our tastings many times will know I'm not a fan of pink grapefruit necessarily in gins. The ones we do show, I tend to like a bit more. But this one, as soon as I open the stopper on the bottle the very first time, I got this amazing fragrance come through, and it wasn't pink grapefruit. There was loads of other stuff going on, as sort of Shane said. It's quite unique. Yeah, love the colour. So that actually comes from an ingredient called butterfly pea flower, and all the colour changing gins use this. So I'll tell you a bit about the brand. Let's go for a taste, actually. Pink pepper, nailed it. Rachel, good shout. Yeah, amazing. That is a very good nose. Let's go for a little taste. So the first thing you note on your palate is that the pink grapefruit is there, but it's kind of just there. There's a tingle of sweetness. There's definitely that peppery fire, you know, not fire, but that peppery tingle just kind of simmering away. And then there's that lovely freshness of a citrus, which, I mean, it could be anything because there's orange, grapefruit and lime in this, but I feel for me it's maybe a bit of grapefruit and a bit of lime. Is that a killer in a good way, or is that a killer like, do not give me any more? So let me tell you about the brand. So Pink Marmalade, they're a company. They call themselves Pink Marmalade, and they're an events, this sort of immersive luxury events company. So I do a lot of corporate events, parties, and all about creating this atmosphere where you can touch and feel and smell and all this sort of stuff in at your event. So they do things. So Pink Marmalade, they created this salted pink grapefruit marmalade as one of their products, and they thought, you know what, let's create something else off the back of it. So they created these pink marmalade edible business cards, which so it's all about, you know, sensory explosions and so on. And then they were sitting down having a glass of gin one evening, and they said, wouldn't it be great if we created a pink marmalade gin? And so they did. Simple as that. And this is the result. And as I said, it wasn't just about creating a pink marmalade, not just do pink marmalade. There's a whole load of other stuff going on. Yeah, Lecky says, like this, but not as good as a Brixton, which is brilliant. Absolutely, you know, I couldn't agree. Brixton was an absolutely amazing gin, and this is different in another way. So we're going to add something to this now. So yeah, so off the back of that, they created this gin, and they've added pink peppercorn to it. Like I said, they've added the butterfly pea flower, which is part of that sort of immersive process to kind of give you extra sensory perceptions. They've added kaffir lime. They've added a couple of different types of orange, grapefruit. I said pink peppercorn. Yeah. So and the usual suspects when it comes to gin. I think it's about 13 botanicals in total. So you're getting a nice, good layer of complexity and layers as you go and drink through. So with this, we're going to add some of our Merchant Heart hibiscus tonic. Yep. Alison's not a fan. Alison is not a fan. Okay, well, look, Alison, we're going to try and change that. We're going to add some tonic to it, so bear with us and let's see if we can pull it back. So, you know, if you've got like 20 mil, 15 mil, whatever it is, 10 mil of gin, I'm going to add in double the amount of tonic. So, no, I'm not. I'm going to add in the same amount of tonic to the same amount of gin. So if I've got 15 mil of gin, I'm going to have 15 mil of tonic. Some of you might want to add double the amount of tonic to the gin. Depends how much you want to open it up. But I'm just going for the same amounts. Okay, so that's what my drinks looks like now. It's turned nice and pink. And that's that pea flower taking effect. But the tonic itself also has a bit of colour. Now let's go for a nose. So now that pink marmalade comes through a bit more, and some sort of, maybe that tonic is also having its own little flavour with the hibiscus. Let's go for a taste. So that pepper's gone, much drier, much earthier, and a touch of sweetness. Maybe that marmalade really comes through. And we're going to add to this some rosemary. Okay, so just a little bit of rosemary. Just give it a tiny squeeze, drop that in. And to complement some of that kaffir lime, we're going to add a lime zest. Okay, so how we're going to do that? Same way we did the orange. We've got an orange here, like so. Sorry, a lime peel. Again, we're going to hold it between our two fingers and our thumb, and the idea is that you just want to squeeze it over the glass and let the natural oils again just float over the glass. So squeeze it once, just let it wash away and just drop it in. Oh, Jenny who is in our chat and in our tasting today, was our consultant that did the spa evening with us, and she said off the back of that event when we did the hibiscus, she ordered a case of it, so she liked it that much. Tell me, Jenny, if it goes with any other gins. So now, actually, on the nose, it's turned really fragrant and really kind of perfumed. So that lime, that rosemary, and that pink marmalade, all that lovely kind of additional botanicals that we talked about, hibiscus. Everything's all kind of just worked together and create something really that noses very, very nice. That for me, with the addition of the lime, has really helped. It was turning a little bit dry, I think, when we had the tonic, but now that lime and that rosemary has created another depth and amplified some more flavors. Let me know what you think. Yeah, really good. So one other thing they did, so these guys are also much like the Wildcat Gin. They did a lot of work with charities. So as part of their launch, they worked with a charity called Crisis, who are a homeless charity, and they got various artists to create individual labels. So there's like a load of different labels to this floating around the marketplace, and I think they auctioned them off, and they raised a few £1,000, and they donated that directly to the Crisis charity. They've sold their markets across the world. Oh, my battery life says I've got 30 minutes left. Okay, we should be good. And so they're designing, they're kind of not only creating a brand that they can, make money from, they are also, trying to do some good with their brand as well, and try and, have a sort of social responsibility, which is also always nice and always good to support. So that's just, a couple of things they did. Yeah, Vicky, I agree. I really like the bottle too. I'm going to have to go and get a battery in my battery. So actually, this could be perfect timing because Shane, can you jump on a sec? I need to go and get a battery. A charger for my battery.
Everyone's up with battery life today.
I know. I'll be as quick as I can.
What do you want to do? Do you want me to do the cocktail then now, and then we can always do the extra. We always do the extra one last, can't we?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the cocktail? Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So the next one we've got, guys, is Damson Gin. So what we'll do is we'll Jas will go obviously over the actual gin itself in a sec when he gets back. But we tried to toy around with different cocktail ideas. And I originally, when I first did the, set up the actual tasting itself and picked out the gins and the theme, in my head, I was kind of saying to myself, well, let's go all kind of flamboyant and think of a really summery, fancy gin with loads of fruit berries and all this kind of stuff. And we had this gin come through, which Jas will go over in a minute, called Damson Gin. And the tone of it it screamed at me for Negroni, and that's generally always been, when it comes to gin, it's always been one of my go-to cocktails. I think it's one of Jas's favorite cocktails. But when I initially kind of, when you think of Negroni, you think to yourself, hang on a minute, that's not really kind of summery as a style. But having said that, with this particular gin, it's the first thing that came to my head in terms of how it would work in the cocktail. It makes it then a very easy cocktail to have because you haven't got really faff around making, fruit purees and making sure you've got juices in. It's 3 simple ingredients. They're non-perishable, so there's nothing that's going to turn around and go off. You can keep this on your little mini bar shelf, and it will just last. And you can have it whenever you think about going back to it. And a Negroni, if anyone doesn't know, you've got 3 simple ingredients, which is essentially 1 part of Campari, 1 part of sweet vermouth, and 1 part of gin. You put it all together, you stir it over ice, and that's it. It's a very, very simple cocktail to make. So in terms of sending something out to you guys to enjoy and make it easier at home, this was, again, another no-brainer. So your cocktail in number 4 is pre-made up. It's all ready to go. The angle's there, right? So just pour number 4. The best way to do it is you kind of do want to make it the same way you would make a cocktail at home. So, although this is ready-made, I don't want you to just throw it in. So if you use your tasting glass, so normal tasting glass or a tumbler, all you need to do is just put some ice cubes in, pour your mix over the ice cubes, and then stir it for about sort of 15 to 20 revolutions. Revolutions, I mean, is 1 stir. So do about 15 to 20 stirs, and then bang, you're ready to go. Garnish wise, I would stick with essentially the same as you would for a Negroni, which is an orange peel. There are some people that put cherries in them. With this one, you could well do that. I would also potentially, if you've got your strawberry, if you have some left, I'd put a slice of strawberry in there as well, because I think it will lend itself to it really well. But if you make that one up, guys, I don't think you have to worry about trying it neat first, because it's a cocktail already made. So get that stirred over the ice, and then Jess will obviously run through, Damson Gin itself. But I hope you enjoy it. I think it just works so well as this style cocktail. But let us know what you think in the comments.
I was actually going to say, we've got a glass of cherry. So if you have
cherry, perfect. That'd be perfect, yeah.
If you have a cherry, then use a glass of cherry, because it works really well with the Negroni.
Yeah.
And also orange peel.
If you want to be fancy, you get a nice orange peel. You kind of wrap the orange peel around the glacier cherry, wedge it between an ice cube, and there you are. It will look fancy. So I've kept mine in the freezer. That was my other option. If you ever don't have ice in the house, one thing to do is put the ingredients, so your 3 bottles, in the freezer. Damn, then you haven't got to worry about it.
Yeah, or if you're golfer, put it in your hip flask. That'd be really good. So Damson Gin, yeah. So as Shane said, that's what we've used in our Negroni. Now we were looking at other gins from this company. They're called Pocketful of Stones, and we're actually looking at some of the other more obvious flavour, summer flavour gins. But we tried this and we were like, wow, actually the fruitiness of it is really good. Now, one thing about being barman and mixologist and sort of cocktail is that when we're creating cocktails, if we want to create something for a particular theme or a summer menu, it doesn't mean that we have to use ingredients that are particularly summer driven, if you like, or winter driven. We can use ingredients and kind of bring out other elements of them. And what we liked about this is the fruitiness. So even though it's quite wintry, Damson considered as a winter berry, partly because of its season and when it's harvested and when it's then consumed. But there's also, you might get it in the Negroni. There's star anise and there's some cinnamon, and there's a sort of wintry spices, which, as I say, on the face of it, is not a summer style drink. But there's that grapefruit, really nice Damson fruit.
The fruit is very strong. Deep cherries, strawberry, red currants, it's all there. And the spices are coming through with the dryness, which is what's nice.
Yeah. So in a Negroni, it works really nicely. And again, a Negroni is not a summer cocktail, but it's still a great cocktail. And it's one that we can always do for these events, because it's, as Shane said, it's not perishable. It works in your kit, so you can preserve it up to the point of the tasting. So it always works. And so let us know if it's working for you as a Negroni. Hopefully it will be. But the story of Damson is a company called Pocketful of Stones. It's 4 friends who all worked in the hospitality industry in London. And they're from all over different parts of Europe, but they kind of came together as a group of friends and decided that they wanted to make their own gin. So one of them owned a pub, and he started making a gin called Caspian Gin, which is their kind of London dry style gin. And then they set up a distillery in Cornwall. So they're now based in Cornwall, and that's where they now produce all their gins from. So this one, they go out and they pick the Damson berries down in Penzance. So the particular sort of run of berries that they find down there. And on a nice day in September, they all head out as a team They spend the day harvesting and picking these damson fruits. They go back to the distillery and they have a big barbecue and party on till the early hours of the morning. And it's kind of something that is tradition for what they do. Off the back of it, they then infuse the berries into their regular dry gin. They add all these lovely spices. Like I said, you know, you've got the star anise, you've got some orange, you've got cinnamon, you've got nutmeg. So very Christmassy flavors. And then they let that steep, and then they release the gin. Now, actually, this gin, we've shown it as a Negroni, but you could, you know, if you wanted to make it like a summer's drink, you could have the Damson Gin with ice, and then added like a rose lemonade, for example, right? That would suddenly make it a summery style drink. You could, you know, have it with a rhubarb tonic, you know, garnish it with a sprig of mint and some strawberry, loads of ice. Again, now you've suddenly created like an obvious summer drink. You know, you could have it with in a champagne flute, and then top it up with a nice sparkling rosé or just a regular champagne. And again, you've created something summer. So there's lots of variety and versatility within this type of spirit that we think could work. We've demonstrated it as a Negroni. What does it? I haven't actually got the Negroni. So what does it taste like?
It's very good. I mean, I think mine's actually. I quite like the fact I put it in the freezer beforehand. It's made it really ultra cold, but there's a warminess to it. I mean, the thing is that I kind of see what you're saying in terms of having it as you know, there's different serves for summer. Having said that, that's potentially something you would use for the daytime. But if you think about summertime, for me, it's usually, you know, it's about the early evenings, going into the evening, sat in the garden, sun's going down. Well, at that point, you don't necessarily always want something that's completely over the top. You know, this works perfectly because you get a little bit of that warmth coming through, which kind of helps you feel a bit warmer at that time of day. But you've got those kind of the fruitiness, the flavors. I mean, there's something else in there though that I'm picking out. I don't know what it is. There's obviously notes of orange, the star anise. There's a bit of clove in there as well. They're all really coming from that kind of Campari and sweet vermouth. And then there's like, just an abundance of red fruits. Yeah, it's cherries, it's red currants, it's strawberries.
Yeah,
even blackcurrants, to say anything along that line is going on. Cranberry. There's something I'm picking out. I can't really pick it.
I have anyone that maybe you're not loving the Negroni, right? But and just in case you're not, I just had some of the regular gin with some of the hibiscus tonic, and it really worked. It worked really nice. So if you're not a fan of Negroni, you want to change it up, you know what? Top it up with some of the hibiscus tonic.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give that a go actually, because it's nice, and I've got a little bit left now.
And you kind of get that idea of what I mean, as Shane says, that sort of nice, sort of long summer's evening where you don't want that obvious rhubarb fruity punch. You might want something that lends itself to something that is a bit nicer in the evening time. And so it's quite versatile. I think that's the thing, there's a lot of versatility within this type of drink.
It kind of opens it up with the tonic.
Yeah.
And in actual fact, it kind of elevates that kind of hibiscusy kind of cranberry tone. Now I'm getting a lot more cranberry come through. It's the lighter red fruits.
Lighter fruits, yeah. Which is still a Christmassy fruit, right? But you know, it still works. Yeah. It still works. It's quite nice.
And in fact, actually, it's cranberry. And it's also strawberries. Strawberry is really now strong with the tonic.
With the tonic, yeah. Yeah.
So this over ice, you know, maybe a sprig of mint or something like that would be quite nice in the summer in the daytime.
Yeah. So let us know, guys, how you're getting on with it. There's also, some of you may have picked out some of that, like Shane said, you're getting some, you know, all these different types of fruits. Some of you may have picked out some cherry, which then replicates itself in almond. Maybe there's, you know, some of that kind of.
For me, what I would use this for in the summer, if I had to give it an exact comparison, I would swap out my Pimm's and lemonade for this. That's what I would do. I would have this. I would have ice, lemonade. I'd stick in all those fruits. You know, the red fruit, some orange peel, some mint and cucumber. That would be my alternative, and I think that would be nicer than Pimm's. Because I don't really rate Pimm's. It's kind of something you have to kind of go along with everyone else, and you know, it's okay. Yeah. But this would be a better option.
Yeah, this would be a really good option actually. Yeah, in that sort of style. Yeah, with some lovely mint earthiness and the strawberries and the orange. Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be really good. So that's a really good shout. So as you can see, there's lots of options, lots of diversity. It doesn't have to be, oh, this is a damson fruit. This got loads of star anise and cinnamon and so on. There's actually quite a lot of versatility. So that is the Ansem Damson from Pocketful of Stones Distillery, based down in Cornwall.
Umbrellas make anything cocktails, Jenny.
Yeah, so amazing. So normally we would actually be at the end of our evening tonight, but we do have one more gin left to do, and that is, it's the blank one. Is it the blank one?
It's unlabeled, yes, that's right, yeah.
Right. So it's the unlabeled bottle that you have, and it's our 5th gin of the evening. And some of you all know this distillery because we've covered it a couple of, well, maybe, have we? Maybe we have.
We've done it once before with the other one, yes, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so it's called Berkshire Botanicals. And they do some really, really good flavours. So created by a guy called Johnny Neal. So Johnny Neal is the man behind Whitley Neal. Okay, so those of you are going to know Whitley Neal as a brand in nearly every supermarket, nearly every single pub you go to and bar, you're going to see a bottle of Whitley Neal. So he kind of cornered the market, even though he started off as a London dry gin. He kind of cornered the market in this sort of flavoured gin category. So the blood orange, the rhubarb and ginger, Parma violet, raspberry, and all these kind of different flavours that he's got going on. And it grew, right? The brand just grew really big. So what he wanted to do was go back and create something a little bit more boutique, a little bit more crafty, and more to his roots. So he's a 7th generation, distilling family. So his great grandmother started the company, and she started distilling, and it's kind of just gone through the generations. So he found a little pub called the Royal Oak in where is it? It says on the bottle actually, Yattendon in Berkshire, and there's on the back of the pub is an orangery, and he set up a distillery, a small still in there, and that's where he makes this gin from. So it's very, very small production, nothing like Whitley Neal, and it's kind of his little thing just to kind of go back to that small production feel and being crafty. So this is brand new on the market, brand new, which is why we had the delay in sending the kits out, because we were waiting for this gin to come in, and it wasn't going to come in, and they said it is coming in, so that's where the delay came. And it's the orange blossom and honey. So I know if you pour some into your glass,
you get like honeycomb on the nose.
Honey, right? You're getting honey.
Yeah, honeycomb, like that kind of, like the sweet.
Yeah. So because it's really, you're getting that orange, but then right behind it is that honey. I'm getting more of the honey syrup than the honeycomb, but
see, I get the honey. The orange for me is very on the back end.
Is it?
Mm.
I get it right there, right behind the orange hit. I'm getting that honey come through. But as we sort of had earlier in the chat, I'm getting that gin as well. So very different to the Wildcat. The Wildcat was very much, this sort of syrup.
It's almost like a liqueur, the Wildcat, I think.
Yeah, heading back to liqueur style. Whereas this is still much, gin at 40.3%. That gin's still there, and the orange is much more, it's much more as an ingredient.
Honeysuckle, yeah.
Yeah. And then that orange, that honey is still there.
So it's a honeycomb, it's vanilla. I'm getting that as well, vanilla notes. Creamy on the nose.
Very creamy, yeah. Very creamy on the palate. Yeah, loads of honey. That orange kind of hits and it kind of lingers and it turns into like an orange peel.
Mm.
Then that honey starts coming through really late, but it's like a set honey for me.
Yeah, the orange now hits first, then that honey comes in, and then it finishes creamy. That's kind of, it reverses itself on the palate.
Yeah, but really good, really good. So again, it's kind of, and you're getting that burn, you know, that tingle, that tingle of the alcohol as well.
So it's definitely more of a gin than it is pump for the sugar kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So to this, we're going to add normal tonic, right? So we've got regular Fever Tree tonic, and that's what we're adding to this. So again, measurements up to you. I'm going to do equal parts gin to tonic, but you might want to do 2 to 1. It's really up to you.
I forgot my original tonic. I only had the hibiscus today, so I'm not going to add any because I think that will ruin it.
Yeah, I went and bought some, but
incidentally, the hibiscus worked amazing with the Brixton at the start.
did it?
I tried it with that. Yeah.
Okay. All right,
Yeah,
good.
really good, really good.
That's good to know. So yeah, let's try that. So really, we don't want to drown the flavors, right? We want to keep the gin, and we just want to open it up enough with the tonic water. So that's why we use those smaller ratios. We're not trying to make a proper G&T, not at this stage anyway. Later on, when we've gone and you're kind of sitting down, you can make a proper G&T. Yeah.
Treacly, I love that comment. Treacly, yes, I can see that.
Yeah, there's definitely like this viscosity. Yeah.
Syrupy, yeah.
So I'm getting loads more orange now with the tonic.
It opens it up.
Like it says, yeah, a little bit sweet. So if you try it with the tonic, let's try it with the tonic.
Gin Wilder is a good gin. Yeah, you remember that from the last tasting.
So yeah, even with the tonic, it's still sweet. A lot of sweetness going on. And that orange is still there. Honey really, really, really late in the background. So, Lekka, you might like what we're going to do here. So we're going to add some ginger, okay? Just a piece of ginger. So I've got a piece of ginger, like this. Fresh ginger. And that's all we're going to add. Because we've got a load of orange in there. We've got honey in there. And we know ginger just works with all of those really nicely. So we've gone for ginger this time. In fact, I'm going to add 2 bits of ginger. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. So you're getting more of the honey with the addition of an ice cube. Okay. Right, so add the ginger if you manage to get some ginger. And now we've got honey, we've got orange, and we've got ginger. It's almost like this is what you want if you've got a cold.
Yeah. Good excuse to have it, right?
Let's go for a taste.
It would work actually in a cocktail. Again, you know, lemons always work best as a base for a cocktail with anything that comes to vanilla and honey. So again, I would do like a lemon, vanilla, sugar, this, and maybe a normal gin. It would work quite nicely. Maybe some apple juice.
Yeah.
Is there any botanical that you can think of? I'm just trying to think in terms of garnish. You know, if a gin like this is, I mean, I don't actually find this overly sweet compared to some. I think there's actually still much more of a gin tone about it compared to the Wildcat.
Yeah.
But is there any particular botanicals, I guess, people can add to a gin to help bring the sweetness down in a gin that potentially is? So rather than adding like bitters, I'm trying to think what would be like a go-to garnish that would help almost change the flavor profile to bring something down on sweetness.
I think you need a tonic that has less sugar would be the first thing.
Yeah.
And then garnish-wise, very tough. You obviously don't go for a fruit. Don't go for, the citrus maybe, unless it's, So
there's more like savoury style ones, I guess.
Yeah, herby.
What's the ginger done? Has that brought any sweetness down?
Has it brought sweetness down?
No, it's just complemented the flavour.
Yeah, it's just complemented the flavour and added a bit of a spice to it. But it looks like some people are liking it with the ginger, but it looks like people are going for Brixton as their number one choice. Some people saying
it had to be. In all fairness, it had to be. I put it at the start. That's the first gin I've had in a couple of years, which has blown me away. The first time I had it, and that comes from someone like I openly told Andrew at the start. I hate Parma Violet gins. I mean, we made one.
We made one.
Me and Jazz made one with Blackbridge, and we made it our way so that it wasn't pumped full of sugar and coloured and all that kind of stuff. So we made it the right way. Yeah. And these guys have done it again. They used a Palmer Violet tone, but added it with so much flavour that it's an amazing gin. Really is. Very, really good gin.
Yeah, I think for me, I like the diversity of the Damson. I love that.
Yeah, that would be my second tonight, I think.
Yeah, that for me, gin and tonic, that is very, very good.
Yeah.
But I do like some of this stuff. I do like, other flavors they do as well. They do some really, really good gins. So definitely look for the Dandelion Burdock from Berkshire, because that is phenomenal.
Yeah, they've got a dandelion. We did the rhubarb was the last one we done from Berkshire, I think, on one of the tastings. But they have got a good range, and if anything, they're great for cocktail gins. So moving into the summer, there'll be some great options with some of their gins for cocktails.
Yeah, Millen's liking ginger with it as well. I'd love to try a raspberry as a garnish with the bottle. Yeah, you know what? That's a good shout, Jenny. Maybe go for the raspberry. Try that on, next time. That's really good. The only good thing about sometimes when we try, when you're drunk. Yeah, that would definitely be a challenge. Are you drunk now, Rachel? That's the question. Yeah. Are you sitting at home saying handsome Damson? Who knows?
I like the shout on the raspberry. Actually, I think that would work quite nicely.
Yeah.
It's not the obvious choice, but actually things like vanilla and white chocolates, they usually use a raspberry. So I can get that kind of tone with the honey, the vanilla tone. I think that would work really well.
Yeah. Well, we kind of whisked through that, right? Really quick, considering we had 5.
Yeah. 8:45. So just over an hour. It's not too bad.
And it's still kind of light outside, even though it's really good. There you go. So guys, look, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Thanks for your patience with us getting the kits out. We were challenging a long weekend and also waiting for stock to come in. So thanks for your patience. We got 2 Irish whiskies next, right? 2 Irish in a row, I think. 2 Irish whiskey tastings in a row. Next week is the first one of those. So we've got 2 different brands, 2 new brands. One is won many awards over last year or so. So definitely get involved if you like whiskey or you want to explore whiskey. And in particular, Irish whiskey is very different to Scotch because it's much lighter. So even if you're not a whiskey fan, then give it a go, because Irish whiskey is definitely one to try. Thank you all. Yeah, thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Lekka. Thank you very much.
I know people started writing there, but has everyone got their favourite for the evening? I'm guessing it is Brixton. I think everyone's put Brixton, haven't they, in terms of their favourites?
Yeah,
which is good. Yeah.
Isn't Brixton on the website?
No, the bottles aren't on the website. So if you want to order anything, if you just drop us a DM or a email, we give you the 15% off. To get a huge 15% off any orders from this evening. So anything that takes your fancy. I know we've got a few Brixton already in stock, but we can get it in pretty much within a couple of days. So yeah, as soon as you know what you want to order, guys, drop us an email to the info@craftgins email that you had your link come through, or a DM on social media, and we'll get those orders processed for you ASAP. I do think there'll be quite a few Brixton orders tonight, which is good. I think I myself want to bring one home so I can play around with some cocktail ideas, which should be good. But like I said at the beginning, I think me and Jess were briefly talking about, hopefully Monday I'll announce the next gin tasting. I think we'll aim for maybe beginning of June, maybe. It might well even fall before the next whiskey one, because the next whiskey one's not until June time. So we'll try and fit it in around that point. Theme wise, we don't know yet. We'll keep your eyes peeled, and we'll keep you on the toes in terms of what we're going to do. But generally, I think we're going to look at getting some new brands coming in. We have a lot of people that I think over lockdown have been maybe dipping their feet in the gin market, the gin scene, coming up with new gins. We get emails daily from people offering new gins. We have to try and fizzle out to the ones that are actually decent. that kind of meet all the encompassing efforts from the bottling, the gin itself, the marketing, and then hopefully we'll find some gins that you'll like. And Brixton was definitely one of them, which is good. That was
Lovely.
It makes us happy, yeah. But I think everyone's okay. If there's any questions or anything before we go, yeah, everyone's like the same Brixton, which is good. Cool. All right. So that was Vicky's birthday present as well. Happy birthday. Oh yeah, I remember that actually. We sent you the glass. Yeah. It was. I think it was last week, wasn't it? I think because I remember Joy got us to get you some bottles sent over. So yeah, that's great.
Oh, happy birthday, Vicky.
So yeah, enjoy. There's been quite a few birthdays recently. Actually, we had Vicky. We had Al. His birthday a couple of last month, I think it was. So yeah. Glad we can keep you entertained again through lockdown. And as always, stay safe. And I know we're opening up a bit now, so get out and enjoy the rain next week, all week long. But yeah, we'll see you soon. Like I said, keep posted for those notifications on the next tasting. But other than that, have a great weekend and see you guys later.
Thank you. Oh, this is happy birthday, Luna's wife as well. This is her 50th.
Oh, happy birthday. Oh, yes. Hello, happy birthday. I was lucky, I was just pressing start.
Happy birthday. And anyone else that we haven't seen said happy birthday to.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
See you later, guys. Bye.